As a content creator, one of the most common questions I get is, hey man, what camera are you using? And you know, I kind of wish that question would go away, except today. Here's the reason why. I think so many people get intimidated by coming out and create the awesome content that they know they need to create, or they're dying to create, or share their stories with the world, because they get intimidated by us people with these fancy setups. Now, when I answered that question, especially to beginners, in the past, I would tell them to go out and get a basic mirrorless camera and plug it in and go to town. But now I have changed my story. I take it back. If I was going to start a brand new studio today, very recently, I would have recommended that you go out and get a couple of these Obsbot Tiny 2s. This is a really incredible 4K camera, has amazing picture quality, and does a myriad of things. Yet it's $300. What an incredible value for a really, really amazing camera that can make you look amazing and your content will be beautiful. Well, the people at Obsbot heard from the community and they said, hey, I like that idea, but $300 a pop is a little bit too much. Can we get a slightly smaller version of the Tiny? But it's not smaller, just like sort of less features version of the Tiny, and the Obsbot company came through. One thing I can say about Obsbot as a company, they really listen to the users and they really care what's going on in the creator community. So they just invented this incredible camera called the Tiny 2 Lite. Now, the Tiny 2 Lite has the majority of the features of the Tiny 2, missing a few that won't affect most beginner creators or people that don't have very specialized needs. Now, in this video, I'm not going to get crazy into the specs because it is personally my opinion that nowadays, too many of us old content creators, myself included, would get deep into the specs, explaining all the cool stuff that these things did, and not necessarily in a way that would make it easy for someone just starting out to understand. It's like I'm a nerd, okay? I get super excited about the specs. I can go for days about how cool this sensor is and what this sensor does, but the reality is that doesn't affect most of you. You just want to know, if I plug this guy in, will the picture look good? And will it work with my computer? And can I make dope content with it? And the answer to all of the above is yes, yes, see, hi, I got lots. Okay, so let me show you a couple of things that the Tiny 2 Lite does that I find absolutely incredible. Now, again, I will try not to get nerdy, no promises. All right, so first here is the Obsbot Center software, and I'll just go ahead and make this a little bigger. And as you start out, this console section right here will let you see the different forms of tracking it has. Now, me personally, I don't use tracking because I'm doing talking head videos. But if I was doing crafting or yoga, maybe playing music, something where that tracking might help, totally get it, and it's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. I can track based off of normal tracking, so that if I move a little bit here or move a little bit here as I'm talking, like the camera will go with me. I can do upper body tracking if I was doing some sort of exercise, or I can do close-up tracking where it's really, really paying attention to my face. And then now it's a little bit more accurate. Now I have it set for slow here. If I put it on motion, I can move really, really quickly, and it will keep up. And that's going to make you sick, so I'll go back to my standard issue preset. Now, the other thing that's really, really amazing about this camera is because of those presets, maybe I'm sitting here and I'm giving you a talk and I'm saying, hey, this is Doc. I'm about to show you what's in my travel bag as I take my tech with me to Japan. I tap on preset 3. It goes over there and it shows you these are 2 brand new alpaca cases, which I'll be talking up in the current video. So I just want you to take a look at them now. I got links in the bottom if you want to follow along. Go ahead and pop those, grab a couple, and I'll get that video out in a week or so, and I'll show you what's all in my travel bag. So I can do things like that. Now, I have full gimbal control, which I can use up, down, left, right to adjust the pan, tilt, zoom. You can also do it manually, and you have the ability to be wide. You can go to medium. You can go to narrow, and I really don't want to gross you out, so I'll come back to here. But yes, I can look up. I can look down. You can move this around. You can flip these controls if you wish so that they make more sense to you. But that is how simple it is to operate the Tiny 2 Lite. It is still an incredible pan, tilt, zoom camera. That's what the PTZ means. And it has amazing picture quality. Let me show you real quick. I'm gonna just hit settings for a second and you will see I'm coming at you at 4K 30 in this particular setup, right? Now, I have all the way down to 720, 30, and I can adjust those accordingly. It's really, really simple and easy to do. The software makes using this easier. I'm going to take you a little bit further. Let's go into the image control. We have what's known as HDR, or high dynamic range. So let's say I have the ability to see light between this mark 0 and this mark 10. A high dynamic range would see from this mark 0 to this mark, say 13. It gives you a little bit more space. Actually, maybe it's more like -3 to 13. So it gives you a little bit more space, so there's a little bit more brightness. If I flip this on, my image looks a little brighter, but you can also see some changes in shadows and things like that. I don't really use that for what I do, but if you're outdoors, it might be important. Right now, you have this focus set for autofocus. So if I want to show you something on this iPhone real quick, I can just pop it there. The autofocus is quick and I can come right back out. So that part is absolutely incredible. Now, in the exposure section, I manually expose. I never do auto exposure, just for the simple reason that these lights in the background will start to drive a camera like this crazy. Most cameras in general, actually. So I set my exposure. I know what it is. I know that I want 1/60 because I'm streaming at 30 frames per second. And then I like my ISO set at 400. But you can take the ISO down to 100, it goes all the way up to 6400, which is crazy, right? For the most people, you want to be somewhere between, say, 400 and 800 and use actual light to give you that better picture quality that you're looking for. It's not always the camera. A lot of times you just don't have enough light. Cameras need light, just like we need lights to see. Cameras need lights to see, okay? And then I know that my color temperature in my room is roughly around 5200, so I can set my color temperature there. It does have auto white balance. Again, I never use that because those lights back there drive it crazy. Also, I am a darker complected person, and this auto white balance doesn't necessarily accurately reflect us, because I know the guys who made this camera, and they don't look like me. they're my friends. They're super cool, but the camera's not going to see a darker complected person or one as handsome as I. It tends to throw off the camera. All right, so let's go a little deeper. I can go into my image controls down here, which gives me a little bit more. Scroll that up. There it is. So you can see contrast, saturation, sharpness, and hue. You can get in and dial this picture any way you want. Well, these little cameras, I tend to do these settings manually as opposed to automatic, and it's just a matter of taste. But I find that it's just a little bit more accurate. But again, it is fully capable automatically right out of the box. If you're like me and you're a tweaker, I come from broadcast. I come from doing professional productions, so I like to style my thing a little bit. It's mostly a stylistic choice. It's not necessarily a right or wrong answer. You do you. It's completely up to you. Now, I'm going to show you a little bit more. In here, I have one of the coolest features in this camera is the sleep mode. When I hit the sleep mode, the neck of the camera will go down and hide the lens, and I can even have it turn off the mic. So if I needed to hit a be right back screen because nature called, all I'd have to do is hit the power button real quick. Bingo. That was a quick little commercial for my Doc Pops. Go check them out at docpops.com. So you can do something like that. And you'll notice down here, it has gesture control. Now me, I'm very handsy when I talk, so I turn gesture control off. But let me show you some of the stuff that gesture control can do. So if I flip this on and I put my hand up here, I can set up a little bit of a zoom, right? If I do the two hands here, I can kind of zoom in and then zoom out based off of I never get this one right. There we go. Come on, you can do it. See, my hands don't do that, but it does work. You can zoom in and zoom out. You could even adjust how crazy you want that zoom factor to be, so you don't have to have it as psycho as you wish. So I tend to turn all of these things off, and let me go back to my console and set my normal shot. Okay, so you do have hands gestures, and they work really well. My partner Mary Lou, she does it all the time. It looks really incredible. But yes, you can use hands gestures if that's something that you're into. Again, highly capable camera. Now, one last thing that I always get asked about is, can I put on some sort of beauty features? First, let me put on a preview image so that you can see this. As you can see, looks very much like this. My software I have the brightness tuned down just a little bit because, again, it's a taste situation. But here is what the preview image looks like. So I'll go ahead and press on the beauty features and I'll turn that on. And so let me see if I crank up the tone a little bit. Hey, it's starting to look cute. Here, let's make my skin look like I'm back to being 20 again. And let's clarify some blemishes. Hey, girl, hey. You can slim the face up a little bit, right? Right, you can mess with that. I can make the head more narrow. So now I look completely different. Now, again, not something I'm going to use, but people often ask. You could even come in and do things like mess around with various filters. These are not dissimilar from what you would see on, say, like IG or something of that nature, but you can play around there. Again, not something I do, but let's just say, let me turn this off real quick. You could also hit the bokeh and not really matter whether your software did it or not. So if you needed a reason to do a little bit of a flush bokeh and you didn't want the software to see it, I think if you go really, really light, it somewhat helps. Even it's good as is, but if you go really, really light, you can add a little depth to your situation. Again, not something that I do, but trust me, people posit this question all the time. And again, highly capable camera. So let me creep out the planet one time real quick. I'm going to turn that on. I'm going to turn that on and then go to that. Look at that. If you really want to, you can. Okay, let me make it stop. Oh no, I have it stuck on. Please stop. Please stop. No. Okay, good. There you go. There you go. So again, as I was stating, the Obsbot Tiny 2 for the price is hands down one of the most incredible buys in content creation today. We're talking a sub $200 camera that is 4K, has amazing quality, has amazing low light sensitivity, has tons of AI features as far as your tracking, following you around, and even having the audio go with it as you move. I mean, like, really, really incredible camera. And if I didn't go into the specs because that's something I'm gonna need you to go and look at for yourself. If you find out, I love this camera, but I wish it was a little more, guess what? There's a Tiny 2 Lite. And if you go in and you say, hey, that's cool, but I need a little more, they have the tail air. So they've got you covered. And again, I know these people, we've been working together for a little over a year, and I absolutely love Obsbot. They're the nicest people in the world, and they really do pay attention to what the community, what the users, what the creators are asking for. So if you have any questions you want me to pass along, write them down in the comment section below. Any concerns, any feedback, I will give them a buzz. You can also reach out to them. They're very responsive and very nice people. And you know, here's what's funny. There's a lot of these type of cameras that come out on the market. There's a lot of competition out there. But I tell my clients, people don't just buy products, people buy people. One thing I know about the people at Obsbot, they care. They're good folks, right? So if you have any questions, comments, or feedback, drop that down in the section below. Again, I tried my best not to get too nerdy. If there was something that you didn't understand that I stated and you have further questions, drop that down below as well. And I will do my best to try to do my views with a little bit less nerds and specs that don't make any sense to you. I want to make content creating as accessible to everyone because I think so many people have amazing stories to tell, and maybe they get intimidated by us content creators that come in with the whole fancy setups and the whole nine. Now, I did want to show you one last thing, just so you can see how good this is. I'm going to show you what my $2,000 camera setup looks like. That is the Tiny 2 right there. This whole video was shot on the Tiny 2 Lite. There is not that big a difference, right? If it is for you, if that's the thing that pops your socks, it doesn't really help you get any more views. But if you're that person and you want to do that, by all means, continue to spend a $2,000 camera. I'm going to tell you now, if I was starting again for the content I'm doing, teaching people how to create and to create from a position of being a real human being and not just a talking head, yo, I could have saved like $1,600. You know what I mean? Like really, really real. I'm going to save the lot. And I would probably just start with 3 of these Tiny 2 Lites or 3 of the regular Tiny 2s. Quite amazing. If you have questions, comments, or feedback, please come out to me. Now, here's what's going to happen. I got some incredible videos that YouTube is going to put on the screen for you right now. I think you should watch a couple of those. Let me know what you think.
This beat goes stupid.